Have you ever dreamed of becoming someone? One of the deepest explorers of the human soul once said, "We are not what happens to us. We are what we choose to become." But choosing is not easy. Choosing means standing naked before your wounds. Choosing means admitting, "I hurt not because of what they did. I hurt because something inside me was already broken." Here's the truth. It is not the world that hurts you. It is where the world finds a wound already open inside you. A betrayal only cuts when it reopens the wound of abandonment. A harsh word only stings when it echoes the ancient voice inside you whispering, "You are not enough." You don't suffer because others are cruel. You suffer because you still believe that if you were just good enough, smart enough, loving enough, strong enough, they would never hurt you. But you cannot control how the world treats you. Control is the grandest illusion of all. Carl Jung warned us, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." You want to stop hurting? Then stop protecting yourself from the pain. Because the real war is not outside you. It is within. The battlefield is your unconscious. Everything you suppress, everything you deny, everything you fear to confront. The abandoned parts of you, the ones crying out in the dark. Every time you feel crushed by rejection, it's not this rejection that kills you. It's every other time you were made to feel invisible. Every time criticism leaves you bleeding. It's not this voice. It's the echo of all the other voices you swallowed. This is the shadow that Carl Jung spoke about. The unseen, unclaimed parts of you. The parts you hide to be loved. The parts you silence to be accepted. The parts you repress, thinking they are bad or wrong. You were not born broken. You were trained to hide your brokenness so well that you forgot it even existed. And now, you trip over it every day. In every failed relationship. In every hollow victory. In every moment you smile. But your soul remains numb. You do not heal by becoming invulnerable. You heal by the lie of protection. How running from pain keeps you a prisoner. The greatest lie you've ever been told is this: if you can avoid pain, you will be free. Your entire life, you were conditioned to believe that safety comes from numbing, from shielding yourself, from building walls so high no sorrow could ever reach you. But here's the brutal truth. The walls you built to protect yourself became your prison. You are not safe because you avoid pain. You are trapped because you fear it. Every time you dodge confrontation, suppress your sadness, laugh when you want to scream. You are not winning. You are feeding the very forces that control you. Pain does not lose power when you flee. It grows teeth in the dark. Carl Jung saw what few dared to admit. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your unfinished conversation with yourself. You think your suffering comes from what others do? The betrayal, the abandonment, the rejection? Number. These events are only the match. What burns you alive is the fuel already stacked inside you. The unhealed wounds, the buried fears, the rejected parts of your soul that were waiting for a spark. You suffer not because people betray you. You suffer because you have not yet forgiven the first time you were betrayed. You suffer not because you're rejected today. You suffer because a part of you still believes you were never enough. Pain is the signal that something inside you was never seen, never heard, never healed. And here's the most terrifying part. The more you try to not feel, the more vulnerable you become. Numbness does not make you stronger. It makes you blind. Blind to the traps you walk into. Blind to the patterns you repeat. Blind to the parts of you screaming for release. Carl Jung warned, "What you resist persists." When you fight against your own pain, you keep it alive. You turn it into an endless cycle. Numb, arrow, react, arrow, regret, arrow. Numb again. Not through chains, not through violence, but through your own fear of feeling. Don't cry. It's weak. Don't get angry. It's ugly. Don't be afraid. It's childish. They taught you to disown your soul piece by piece, until all that remained was a mask, smiling, polite, exhausted. But your pain never disappeared. It just waited. It waits in the sleepless nights. It waits in the sudden rage you can't explain. It waits in the hollow victories that should have made you happy, but didn't. Understand this. Avoidance does not bring freedom. Awareness does. You don't have to run anymore. You have to turn around and face what is chasing you, because when you finally face it, really face it, you will see something unexpected. Pain is not trying to destroy you. Pain is trying to liberate you. The wound is where the light enters you. Carl Jung knew this too. He saw that every fear, every sorrow, every moment of anguish is a doorway, but only if you dare to walk through it. You think you need to be stronger? You think you need to be colder? You think you need to care less? Number 8. You need to be braver. Brave enough to feel. Brave enough to hurt consciously. Brave enough to bleed, and yet stay present, without running. Freedom is not found by numbing your heart. Freedom is found by becoming so aware of your pain that it can no longer command you. When pain loses its power to make you reactive, when wounds lose their ability to make you betray yourself, you become untouchable. You were never meant to be invulnerable. You were meant to be indestructible, not by avoiding the fire, but by learning how to walk through it. If this awakens something inside you, comment, "I walk through the fire." Face the shadow, become whole, or remain a prisoner. You want to be free? Then listen carefully. You will never be free by running from yourself. You will never be whole by pretending you have no darkness. Freedom comes through integration, and integration demands one thing above all. You must face your shadow. Carl Jung taught us what modern culture desperately tries to ignore, that the parts of you fear the most are not your enemies. They are your imprisoned power. What is the shadow? It is every fear you denied, every rage you suppressed, every desire you buried because it didn't fit the image you wanted the world to see. It is the hunger you called shame, the anger you called wrong, the sadness you called weakness. You were taught to hide these parts. Smile, be nice, be strong. Never show fear, never show need. You cut off pieces of yourself and threw them into the dark. But here's what no one told you. Those pieces never died. They wait. They wait in the depths of your unconscious. And when you are weak, tired, distracted, they rise. You sabotage your own success, and you don't know why. You destroy relationships that were healthy, and you don't know why. You numb yourself with distractions, and you don't know why. You think it's bad luck? You think it's fate? It's the shadow. The parts of you refuse to see, now driving your life from the dark. Carl Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is not poetry. It is a law, an iron rule of the human soul. Whatever you refuse to own, owns you. And here's the terrifying part. The shadow doesn't just hurt you. It chooses for you. It shapes your relationships. It picks your addictions. It whispers sabotage into your ear, and you obey, thinking it was your idea, because you were too afraid to look inside and confront it. You cannot kill your darkness. You cannot outrun it. You must walk into it. You must meet it, face to face. Facing your shadow is not glamorous. It is brutal. You will see things you despise. You will uncover motives you wish were not yours. You will find cruelty, envy, lust, rage, and it will break your illusion of yourself. Good. It must break, because what rises from the ruins is truth. And truth, even when ugly, is the beginning of true power. Integration is not becoming better. Integration is becoming real. When you embrace your shadow, you stop being controlled by unseen forces. You stop reacting like a puppet every time someone presses an old wound. You reclaim every piece of power you once abandoned. You become whole. And a whole person, not a good person, not a bad person, but a conscious person, is unstoppable. You no longer need to please. You no longer need to prove. You no longer need to perform. Because you know who you are, both the light and the dark, and you have claimed it all. This is individuation. The process Jung spoke of, not perfection, not sainthood, but wholeness. The conscious acceptance of everything you are, so nothing inside you can ever be used against you again. You are not here to erase your darkness. You are here to master it, to wield it wisely, and to walk this earth untouchable, because you are no longer at war within yourself. If this resonates with the warrior inside you, comment, "I claim my shadow," below. Let's walk together, beyond fear, beyond doubt, into absolute wholeness. Consciousness, the final shield that makes you untouchable. Faint wind sound, growing stronger. Like the world itself, breathing distant low choir hum. Building awe, you have walked through the fire. You have faced the darkness. You have met the parts of yourself you once feared. Now, one last truth remains. Nothing and nobody can ever hurt you again if you choose to awaken. The final protection is not numbness. It is not walls. It is not pretending not to care. The final protection is consciousness. Consciousness is the ultimate shield, because it sees. It sees the games. It sees the manipulation. It sees the illusions. And because it sees, it cannot be controlled. When you are conscious, criticism loses its poison. Rejection loses its sting. Betrayal loses its power. Not because you don't feel, but because you understand where the wound would have been, and it is no longer there. You still feel sadness, but you are not consumed. You still experience anger, but you are not blinded. You still encounter fear, but you are not ruled. You feel everything, but nothing owns you anymore. Carl Jung understood this. Freedom is not the absence of limitation, it is the mastery of limitation through awareness. You don't escape life. You become so radically present to it that nothing can dominate you. Consciousness is not escape. Consciousness is conquest. Look around you. Most people live asleep. They are ruled by their shadows, triggered by every insult, broken by every disappointment, chasing after validation like starving animals. They think they are strong, but their strength is brittle. Their peace is conditional. Their happiness is hostage to circumstances. Not you. Not anymore. Because now you see. You see the patterns. You see the wounds. You see the games. And by seeing, you step outside of them. You do not need to become harder. You do not need to become colder. You need to become wider, deeper, clearer. Because in the light of full consciousness, no shadow can enslave you again. He who sees clearly cannot be ruled. You don't react anymore. You respond. You don't collapse anymore. You choose. You don't chase acceptance anymore. You stand in your own presence. And that presence changes the room. Carl Jung called this individuation the full birth of the self, the meeting of light and shadow in a single unstoppable being. You are not your wounds. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are the one who holds them all and still walks forward. The world may still try to hurt you. Life will still throw storms. People will still misunderstand, reject, betray. But there is nowhere left inside you for their arrows to land. You are whole. You are awake. You are free. Nothing and nobody will ever hurt you again, because you no longer leave yourself behind. If you have crossed through your own darkness today, comment below, "I have awakened." Share this journey with those who are ready to rise. And remember, the world does not need more people pretending to be strong. The world needs people who have faced themselves and survived.